Howdy tubers, I forgot to shoot an intro to this video and it's too late to do it now, so get ready for a nice long boring video. Grab your Budweiser and some caramel popcorn and let's get it done. So I'm fixing to start working on this cabinet. If I'm going to run this down the road, I need to get this sort of the face frame framed out and some doors and stuff on it so that the stuff won't fall out of it, you know, basically. I want to build this basically like all these cabinets. I'm going to take one bias and build a face frame. We'll have, I get rails and styles mixed up. I think these are the rails. They go up and down. Plan on doing, you know, three doors, and at the bottom I think I want to put 3 drawers, and then have a couple of big doors down at the bottom that aren't cabinet space. You just can open them to get down there to service the inverter and you know, whatever else you need to do. I've kind of shown all this before. I don't want to spend a lot of video time on how I'm going to do this. If you'd like to sort of see the process, you can go back. There was one other video, I don't know, I'll maybe try to link it if I can remember. So the first thing I'm going to do is rip the 1x that's going to cover this up. On most all these other sides and all the other cabinets, there'll be an I think it's called an overlay, I don't know exactly, but where the inside of the cabinet, the inside of the face overlays the inside of the cabinet. I'm not going to do this on this one because this board is already so wide, and I'll sort of cheat the doors over a little bit to sort of make this not look so wide. I'm going to make this a little bit wider than this by about 1/8 of an inch. I like to, when I'm doing something like this, in my very limited experience, I like to lay this board over the wall by about 1/8, not a significant amount to take up any extra room. But if you try to line it up flush, it's easier to see imperfections or a gap, or if it's not exactly straight. And if you overlay it by, you know, about 1/8 or maybe 3/16 of an inch, it's a lot easier to make it look good. So anyway, I'm going to spin you around. I got a board up there. We're going to cut it off and rip it, and it'll be this piece. And then I'm going to cut out the rest of everything, and blah blah blah. So I plan on taking and screwing this faceplate, you know, with the wood screws to the structure of this. Here, 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 you know, everywhere. And the reason for that is just so it'll make it stronger. This cabinet is going to have potentially a lot of weight in it. You know, probably, I guess realistically, now that I'm saying that, not as much as this is now. But you can throw a lot of shoes and clothes and that kind of stuff. This will be packed full of food. I was planning on using this sort of as a pantry. I'm going to countersink some holes and get this lined up and screw this up here. Do the other side, and then I can measure to build the cross pieces, and then pull these back off and put the pocket hole screws, screw them all together, and then mount it. Alright, so I'm going to cut all the pieces that go across here. I'm going to basically try to line them up with the bottoms, something like this, so you'll have a cavity up here, but the shelf will be pretty well flush, maybe up like a 1/4 of an inch, about like these. But anyway, I'm going to cut all these pieces and test fit them and get them to fit really, really nice in here, really smooth. You know, I'm probably cut them a little bit long and then finish them with a plane or something, like a 16th, you know, or something, and get them to fit really, really nice in here, so that when I pull all these apart and put them in, this will all be nice and not necessarily square, but it'll fit. So I'm going to test fit this thing, and if it fits, I want to glue it. I'm going to glue the crap out of it. I think this glue probably adds more structural integrity than 500 screws, but you got to have the screws to hold it up there. So I think I'm going to kind of shift here and start working on the bathroom. I need to make this bathroom more functional. You know, you can take a dump in it, but it needs a door, it needs some cabinetry, and this thing needs a sink in it before I can use it. I need to hurry up. I'm going to run out of warm Colorado weather, and you know, I need to get to show on the road. Anyway, I'd rather not put the kitchen sink in it because I got to build all the cabinets and the countertops and all that kind of stuff. I'd like to get the sink built in here. I can just screw a piece of plywood down for a countertop, jigsaw out a hole in it, and drop a sink in it. We can have a sink. But anyway, I think I'm going to build a, I know it's hard to see what's going on. There's just not enough room to get my camera far enough away from where I'm working. But the toilet's right here. I'd like to build a little cabinet right in here with like one door that you could stack toilet paper and probably the stuff you pour in the commode, you know, for the keep it from stinking, and that kind of stuff. I'd like to build a little medicine cabinet, and then the sink and cabinet thing here. So this little cabinet, here's kind of what I got going. I realize you can't see me, but this is going to be the floor of the cabinet. Now this is going to be up above your head. You know, you really can't see all these pocket hole screws. But I'm just going to screw this directly to the walls. I've got this, it fits in there really nice and tight. And so if I line up everything else with it, everything else should fit nicely. So these are going to be the uprights, and then it'll have some some of the 1x2s to run this way. Anyway, these will screw into the ceiling and the outside walls on either end. will screw into the front face, the sides, and the back. And then this upper stile will also have a screw into the ceiling. Hope that all makes sense. What is this, you say? It's a doorless medicine cabinet. You probably can't see in here, can you? So I got this thing done. Obviously, it's going to have a, a countertop that goes on it. A little bit bigger than this. I'm thinking about getting like a vessel sink that's a little bit bigger, that sort of hangs over. But it won't be too wide. It won't be in your way when you go to sit on the toilet or whatever. It's probably a little bit over-engineered, but whatever. Screwed to the wall, glued to the wall, screwed to the floor, screwed to the side. It'll come out pretty good. This is not perfectly level, and you can see there's less gap here than down there, but it's not bad. And I think once all this is painted, that little step will actually look good. It'll distinguish the difference in the cabinet and the wall there. So I'd like to talk about me a little bit, kind of get a little bit personal. We all have things about ourselves that we don't like. Some of us are lazy, some of us like to drink too much, some of us are addicted to cigarettes. We all have something. Everybody does. Anyway, I've got a favorite midnight snack. Not really so much a meal, but a favorite midnight snack. And that's a peanut butter and grape jelly sandwich. And by the way, my neighbor made me some plum jelly, and it was the greatest thing ever. And if you're watching this, hint, hint, I'm out. I need to bring the jar back to you. But anyway, I love a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And so anyway, I have lost the ability to not put the peanut butter in the refrigerator with the jelly after I make a sandwich. I don't understand why this is. It's been going on for years. It's just something in my head. I cannot not put the peanut butter in the refrigerator. Anyway, as we speak right now, I'm trying to make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or I was a minute ago, as I'm voicing over this video. And of course, it's in the refrigerator, and it's set up like a chunk of concrete. Anyway, spreading peanut butter out of a jar on a piece of bread that's been in the refrigerator is about like taking a piece of ice and trying to spread it on a piece of bread. It just does not work, and for whatever reason, I cannot put it up in the cupboard. So I've got some of these little wooden plug things that goes in these pocket holes. I'm going to start gluing some of these in. These are all cut with a grain. They plane really nicely. They're all a little bit long. I wish they were shorter and you could just sort of line them up by hand, but you stick them in and you got to hit them with a plane. I'm going to start gluing these in. Alright, so I took some regular wood filler and wood filled all these holes. I just daubed it on. It may take another coat. It probably will take another coat. But I bought me a little sander that's got comes to a point instead of a round one. I can get up here in the corners. Anyway, I'm going to go around and knock sand down the filler and then sand down all these joints. These never come out exactly perfect. You can see this is a little bit proud here. And anyway, you get on this with a sander, you can sort of make that seam disappear. They're not off much. They're probably a 30-second or less. But you can see that'll be really visible when you paint it. If we sand it down, it'll sort of go away.
So I'm fixing to kick it up here to the 100 times 100 times speed, 100x speed. This video is getting kind of long. Anyway, I've taken my plane here and knocking the high spots off of the little wood plugs that I put in. And then my first step here is I take this router and go along the inside and cut the groove out that I forgot what the name of it is, but the wooden piece that goes in there, or the glass or whatever you put in it, goes into the frame that holds it. Anyway, take that, it cuts a square notch out for it, and then here in just a minute I'm going to switch bits and run along the outside to put the profile for the door on. Anyway, I end up screwing up both of these big doors, or two of the three. The first one being with the squared out part of the router. I started on the wrong side of it, and then on one of the other doors, I put the chamfer on upside down, so the wood plugs are all on the outside. Anyway, I'll probably have to redo them, but that's about the size of it.
So I think all the major woodworking is done for now. I'm going to take and give this thing a really good cleaning and organize it. Try to get it, a little bit better shape, and then I'm going to get this wall put up. And I got to put a header and a few things up there. But anyway, I'm going to do a bunch of cleaning. All right, so these are the bigger doors. It's going back here on the closet, I guess you call it, the wardrobe. And believe it or not, I made a couple of mistakes. I screwed up more on this than I got right. I actually made one of these. Yeah, this one is backwards. So the screw holes are on the wrong side. And then this one, I started to put the chamfer on the wrong side. So now it's got a piece going out of it. I may save this one, I don't know. My ultimate plan is to put glass in these. And I think probably, the one's perfect, but I think probably I'm just going to remake these later, put glass in them and paint them. The smaller ones are back here, I'll show you in a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and put the wood in them. They won't have glass, they'll just be painted, but I'm not going to paint them yet. And so I'll ultimately have to take them back apart. I'll have to pull the hinges and stuff off of them to paint them all. But I'm trying to get this thing where I can use it for now. It doesn't matter if they're painted. I need to have cabinet doors on that so I can shut them and all the crap doesn't come falling out of the doors. So anyway, I've got the inner panels cut. There's a radius on the inside of here, so I've got to take the radius to the corners before they'll fit. I'm just going to do that with my handheld belt sander. This is pretty easy, goes pretty fast. One nice thing about having air brakes, I've actually got an air chuck back here. Just a minute or two and I'll have air. So I've got a short hose, I'm kind of tethered here. These are obviously the smaller ones. I'm going to put just a little bit of glue inside this joint. Last time I had the glue squeezed out, I've already put too much. The glue squeezed out on the front face, and when I painted it you could sort of see it. It sort of disrupted the way the paint looked in there. The hinges I'm going to use are just the regular plain, what do they call these? Face mount, I believe is the name of them. Just a plain regular face mount hinge. So I got this set at 1.5 inches. I'm basically just going to take these 1.5 inches from the edge, pull in up against that ruler, and put it right there. I don't know if there's supposed to be a more sophisticated way of doing this. Here's what I'm doing. Obviously these are still rough. I'm going to sand these down. They need finished, they need painted, they need a lot of stuff. Keep in mind that the only reason I put this up is so I can drive it down the road and the crap doesn't fall out of my cabinet, basically. So the width of my opening is 13 5/8. The width of my door is 15 1/8. But between the edge of the door and where the hole of the screw goes, the width of the hinge is 1/2 inch. So 15 1/8 plus 1/2 inch is 15 5/8. Minus 13 5/8 is 2 inches. I want an overlap of 1/4 inch of this door, which is not typical, but I've got this extra width there. I'm trying to kind of fudge them all this way. So 2 inches minus 1/4 should mean that my screw holes need to be 1 3/4 inch from this edge. Whether or not this is right, I don't know. Let's hold the door up there and find out.
Obviously the height of these doors is critical, but I just got to make them all the same, and I want them pretty close to the top, so I'm just going to guess.
Alright, this line isn't necessarily level, but it's pretty close to parallel with the ceiling and the rest of it, and square with the sides, and so it'll be a good reference. I'm going to put the door on the other end, basically as close, as far that way as I can, just enough that the edge covers the door. So you get the idea. I'm going to work on the bottom doors. I think probably later I'm going to put 3 inches. There's no use in doing that now because, well, I got to take it all back apart and paint it in a few months. I'm going to get those put on and I'll show you what it looks like. Well, here we go. It's hard for me to get back far enough to get you a vantage point. These look good. I'm pleased with them. This center one is actually in good shape, but I have screwed up both of these outside panels. I had originally planned to put mirror in right there, and I may yet, but I'm not for sure that that would be such a great deal. I was thinking you could sort of, I don't know, use it as a mirror perhaps, but I feel like, you know, it's down, you know, to see this you'd have to squat down, and I'm not sure if this would be a good idea. Well, the next thing I need to do, and I'm going to have a very difficult time videoing this because there's a wall, you know, I just can't really get in there to see it. I wanted this as a full-length closet. Now, it's going to have an electric heater that goes right there, and I plan on putting a floor in this, you know, roughly about that high, and that'll be the cavity the heater sits in from the back wall. But this is the only actual full-length closet. This will be the only place you can put something like a broom or a mop. And anyway, I need to finish this out. I kind of forgot about this. I've got a piece of this plywood. I'm pretty sure this is wide enough. I'll have to measure it. I think what I'm going to do is to take this, take it outside, lay me some bumper rails up for my my router, and actually just router out the hole that I'm going to have in it for the door, you know, the access hole, and then put this up there. Instead of it being sort of like a face frame cabinet, since it's sort of inset in there, it's not really lined up with the face of the cabinets, I think that'll be fine. Like I said, it won't really be a face frame, so to speak, like a wood. It'll just be plywood with a hole cut out in it for you know, for the cabinet door to shut against. And then as far as the cabinet door goes, I may build something similar that doesn't look like the rest of the cabinets. I may just actually take a piece of plywood, router the edges, make it look nice and smooth, and put it up there. I think for now, I'm just going to put the face frame up, put a floor in it. There's no way to video it for me to be in there working on it. You're going to be looking right at the back of my head. I'm just going to get in there and do it, and I'll show you when we're done. Alright, I stuck a cabinet door up there to try to help with the exposure in here. So anyway, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a header in across here to kind of shore up this wall. I don't want this thing flexing. You know, I cut all these pipes out and it sort of weakened it. There's a set of screw holes here you can see, and there's also one here and one here. There's just enough room to be able to get in behind here, I think, and put those back in. That may be kind of a trick. I'm going to try to cut these four piece of pipe off here. I'm just going to hold this up there and eyeball it, where I got just enough room to get these screws in it. Take a cutoff wheel, I'm going to cut all those off. Almost doesn't fit. Got my little 40 cracker box. I bought that thing in Alamosa, Colorado when I had trouble with a trailer I had up there, and expected to bring it home and throw it away. And I have used the snot out of it. You know, it'll run a 332-60-10 is about all you can do with it, but it welds that great. And I mean, even as in the stuff I do in the field, that's something common that I use. You know, I don't know if it would run a 332-18 or not. Anyway, I want to put a couple of tacks up here and then get up there and see if I can get the screws put back in the body. That's going to be difficult. I won't be able to show it. I got to get my right angle drill and wedge it in there between the cab. And it's actually got to flex the wall out a little bit. I don't want to weld these yet. I just want to put a couple tacks in there, see if I can get it held good enough to get the screws put in it, basically. Alright, I'm gonna go find these stupid screws. So I got the screws put in it. I'm gonna weld this out real quick and then we'll get back to some plywood. for welding 14 gauge tubing with a $100 welding machine and 6 to 10 rods. I suppose that went all right. I'm gonna air this place out here and I'll be back. I'm gonna throw some plywood up here. Get ready for some ultra super duty fast forward. Here we go. I'm gonna knock the profile down on those welds, and I got some insulation up there kind of needs to be trimmed. I'll probably show you a little bit of that. It's getting kind of late, maybe tomorrow if I get back out here, but next thing will be that plywood up there. So I want to show you what I got going back here. This is obviously not finished, but I'm gonna screw it in. It's against this wall. I'm going to glue and staple this little 1x here, staple it to the 1x, and build a door. It's going to have a floor just right under here, something like that. Anyway, it isn't finished, but it is Friday morning, just after midnight, and it's about time to call this video. So I like just a few things having this video done, or whatever, you know what I mean. I like a few things being at a stopping point, but I gotta call it, gotta get a video. I'm gonna go work on it tonight a little bit. I'm a kind of a night owl. Work on it tomorrow, try to get it uploading Friday night, or I can turn it on for you Saturday. Appreciate you watching. Probably done in here for now. I got an inverter we're going to put in it, some batteries, a bunch of other stuff, kind of get back on some electrical mechanical stuff. It's pretty well to the point to where I can use it, except a few things. Obviously I got to put a sink in that's coming, sort of a temporary deal, you know, a few things. But we're getting really close to the point that I will be ready to say I can use it. My arm's getting tired. I'm tired, I'm ready to go in. Appreciate y'all watching. I'll get you on the next one. I'm about to drop the camera. My arms wore out.